What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hawks Nest, where this week we're going to be talking about the state of the Hawkeyes as they enter the bye week. So last week, game against Minnesota, first couple drives, Iowa looked like the offense might have been finding some groove. Scored a field goal, scored a touchdown, up 10-0 right away. Deacon Hill looked like he was poised for a breakout. He started slinging it to wide receivers. Devontae Vines saw action pretty quickly and early on. But then outside of those, it was pretty much just a defensive battle where Iowa held Minnesota to only 4 field goals for the rest of the game. In the second half, Iowa's offense really struggled. They only had 2 yards of offense total that second half. And then, as we all know, the game ended on a questionable call. I'll leave it there. And then Deacon Hill threw an interception for Minnesota to seal the win and get a 12-10 victory. So with this week being a bye, I thought I'd go into where I feel the state of Iowa is. So Iowa 6-2, atop the Big Ten West, will tie with Wisconsin, but Iowa has the tiebreaker. And honestly, the defense has carried the weight for the most part, except for these two games prior to Minnesota, where the running game had a little bit of energy and helped Iowa win. Since the Cade McNamara injury, Iowa's offense has pretty much been non-existent passing wise. Deacon Hill hasn't really been as effective as we had all hoped. There was a lot of praise when he had to take over the field. It was noted that he had a strong arm, so we thought finally the passing game would emerge. It hasn't. So maybe we start letting Joey Labas start getting first team reps. I don't know, just throwing it out there. He'd have 2 weeks to prepare for the upcoming game against Northwestern. So that's just something that I would do because honestly, right now it feels like the QBs are afraid to make mistakes. And the reason I'm thinking that is because they constantly throw it down to their safety blanket tight ends without trying to stretch the field. And it's really starting to handicap the offense. The offensive line, I feel, has been the biggest issue offensively. Anytime they play a competent defense, such as Minnesota, who was ranked 63rd, I believe, in the nation, um, they can't hold their own weight. We saw Iowa's running game non existent last week. Second half of the game, non existent, like I said, only 2 yards total of offense. And then finally, the big thing that needs to be talked about is while Kirk has said multiple weeks that he won't make changes to his staff during the season, I believe that interim athletic director Beth Gotts needs to make the decisions for him. I would stop this whole charade of the Brian Ferentz contractually obligated points that's turned Iowa's offense into an even bigger laughing stock than it has. And honestly, I would just remove the offensive coordinator title from him. Um, but I would actually keep him on the staff, but move him back to the O line where he was before the offensive coordinator position was given to him, thus firing George Barnett. But my reasoning behind moving Brian back to the O line is that's what he did with the Patriots. That's what he did when he came to Iowa. And under Brian, Iowa's offensive line was actually known as one of the best offensive line units in the country. And here's where things could get a little dicey. You could move someone like LeVar Woods off of special teams into an offensive coordinator. I know that might not be his cup of tea as he played defense in college. Um, but I mean, we have guys like Abdul Hodge, who was an All American linebacker, coaching our tight ends. So I think he'd be able to make the adjustment. And then you kind of use that aspect as a mini interview, I guess, if he's able to somewhat turn around Iowa's offense or even make Iowa's offense existent. I say you use that as the interview process and essentially name him almost coach in waiting because either between him or Coach Parker, I hate to say it, but you're going to lose one if you don't put that title on someone. And Iowa needs to start preparing for life after Kirk because I don't foresee it being as long as he hopes. Um, And that's just in a nutshell what I think about Iowa heading into this bye week. Hopefully, they take the time to figure out if Deacon Hill is the guy, maybe give Lava some reps, start that quarterback battle for the rest of the season. Because honestly, there is a good chance Iowa can go 4-0 for the rest of the season, finish the season 10-2, but it's also quite possible that Iowa could go 6-6. If this offense can't figure it out, it's going to be a long last month of football, and they may not actually make a bowl game if they don't figure it out. But with that being said, I appreciate you all for watching, and make sure you follow the CFB Nation for all your college football news. And hopefully, Iowa's offense can figure it out. But with that being said, go Hawks.